Today's reading focus is what you need to know right now. This is a pretty simple topic, but I'm hearing that it's actually going to be more complex than we think. And when Spirit says something's going to be complex, Lord knows it's going to be complex, because the way that I channel, the way that I work with Spirit, and the things that they bring through me are oftentimes very cryptic. And we're going to be getting some notice today on some things that we need to know. So this could be collective information, this could be personal information, could be subjective, could be more objective. So take it as it resonates. We'll see what plays out as we get into the cards and into the reading. For group number 1, we have the eight of lockpicks, which is the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Strength card for group number 2. And then we have the 6 of Arms, which is the 6 of Swords, in this new deck that we got as a gift from Leanna. Thank you so much, Leanna, longtime fan, friend, and listener. Absolutely love this deck, as Skyrim is one of my all-time favorite video games. And I didn't know that they made a deck, so how cool is that? So make your selection, and if you feel drawn to more than one card or all of the readings, you can feel free to watch at your leisure and at your pleasure, and we'll see you in the readings. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your reading. You guys were drawn to the 8 of lockpicks, which in this particular Skyrim tarot deck, thank you so much to Leanna for sending this in to us. What a beautiful gift. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. Is the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so 8 of Pentacles here, and we're looking at what you need to know right now. It feels like you're very invested in a project. What are you working on, group number 1? There's something you're working on. And I'm hearing better, best. You're getting better. You're becoming the best at it, or you're very, very strongly improving your skills, increasing your skills. Okay, so I'm seeing a dragon, and it almost looks like a kite, like a dragon kite flying in the sky. Maybe you're flying high, or you're mastering this skill and it allows you to get more lift, more elevation, more height. It's like you understand the aerodynamics of this thing, whatever this project is. It's like you can wrap your head around it in a new way. Oh, 2 of Cups, 2 of Voices. This just came up in group number 2. I actually did their reading first, which I don't normally do. Okay, and the 8 of Voices, 8 of Cups. 2 8s, 5 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, beautiful, Knight of Spells, that's Knight of Wands, two of lockpicks on the bottom. Before we move to the next row, I just kind of want to look at these. Some of you may be working with a partner on this project, or you could be getting beneficial support from someone who's invested in you, either as like, say, for example, a spouse, like they're not directly connected to the project that you're working on, but they support you and that helps you support the project. Or it could be a literal partner, like a business partner, a compatriot, a collaborator, whatever it is. But it feels like there's someone else that's kind of like orbiting around you that's in support of this work. And I'm hearing group effort. So maybe it's even an entire group of people, colleagues, etc. But either way, whatever's going on here, even if this is just like spirit that we're talking about and you're working on this completely alone, it feels strongly to me like you're improving. Your skills are getting much, much better. And it feels like it's condensed. So maybe you went through a long learning period of trying to wrap your head around something and trying to better your circumstances. I'm hearing, okay, bettering your circumstances by acquiring more knowledge and putting things into action and applying yourself. But you may not have seen the improvement, it's kind of like there was a long gap. And now it feels like you need to know that the improvement is bettering you. Like, not that you are getting better and therefore improving, but the improvement is bettering you. And your circumstances may change from this. It kind of feels to me like you can finally relax. Something about a one-off and one-upsmanship just came through as well. That just channeled through. A one-off of one-upsmanship. It feels like you're moving away from that, or you're just not giving it any of your time. 3 of Swords. Yeah, it feels like you're just not giving that any of your time. You're like, I don't have energy for that. I don't have. That's unimportant. I'm so focused on this other thing that really doesn't mean anything to me. The Chariot, because you're moving. You're just moving on. You're moving forward. You're moving. And you're moving at speed, and you're focused, very focused on success, very focused on your destination, very focused on what it is that you're doing, your goal. You're keeping that very top of mind. And priorities and prioritization is coming through as well. So you're accurately prioritizing. So anything that's not in alignment with that goal kind of falls by the wayside. And again, I feel like you have a lot of support here. I'm being shown the wheels of the Chariot rotating. Could be wheel energy, like Wheel of Fortune. Cycles turning, spinning, but also I'm being shown propulsion, momentum, movement connected to those wheels, and this ease of flow that helps and benefits you in increasing your speed. So your momentum, your inertia is increasing. Again, I was being shown like this long period of time where you were kind of stuck at the same pace and things just kind of looked the same for a very long time, even though you were still acquiring a lot of knowledge. You were still practicing this. Something about your will to continue really kind of propelled you forward, even through the doldrums where there was no wind and you were just kind of left floating there, not going anywhere. But now the wind picks up, and now the Chariot gains momentum, and now the speed is increased and enhanced. And it's because it feels like because you just didn't give up. King of Spells, King of Wands. Yeah, and your fire is lit. It is stoked. It's like the steam engine is not slow starting anymore. It's like it's taken a long time to get it built up to this speed, but it's finally fully heated, and the momentum is carrying it, and the weight of the engine itself is now moving at speed. So very, very fast. And the Star. And it feels like the direction you're going is making it very clear to you why you continued in the first place. The direction, the goal itself, this dream, this purpose, this goal, it is this guiding light, this force within you, like a call, a soul calling. And it's pushed you through the doldrums, it's pushed you through the pit, it's pushed you through the downs or the flat lines or the plateau. It really pushed you through all of that, and it has kept you moving forward despite some of the setbacks that you've experienced, or some of the difficulties and the lack of results. And I'm seeing you finally getting to a place where I'm hearing comforted, a place where you feel a lot more settled and secure in what you can create, because your goal, even though it hasn't been fully achieved yet, feels like you're just a lot more settled in your skill, and that can't be taken from you. Ace of Lockpicks, Ace of Pentacles. I'm hearing a gift of what? Oh, I heard a gift of determination. You guys have a lot. I think one of the skills you were developing wasn't even about what you were working on in whatever this project is. You know, it wasn't like a real life application of the skill. The skill actually behind the scenes that you were building, especially through the plateau, was the skill of determination. That's what you were working on. That's what you were practicing. And you've much improved at that. Very, very strong. You fought for what you wanted. You've continued to fight, and you will continue to fight. Not aggressively, but with affirmation of your desire, with action, with applied patience. It's like slow burn, but that slow burn gains momentum, and it lasts a really, really long time. And it feels like the times where you felt like nothing was moving and you were dissatisfied with the results, or you lacked results entirely, and this really kind of made you question whether you were going in the right direction, whether you should continue, whether you should pursue this any further. That is being exposed as an illusion. It's like, it's strange, but it's true. What I'm being shown is kind of like that was all a test. That was a test to determine your determination. And spirit was riding with you the whole time. That's what I'm being shown. It's like they were riding with you the whole time, making sure that you were going to prioritize what really matters to you. And then I'm hearing, and then matter would reflect that. So the physical reality in this project, in this creation, whatever this is, this skill development that you've been working on, is manifesting. But I keep hearing priorities, prioritizing, creation. Okay, I'm being drawn over to the Woodland Warden's deck, so we will get, I'm hearing guiding light and guiding force. Yeah, that's star. Hope and patience and renewal, regeneration of this desire to continue to pursue. I'm hearing, and I'm being shown the 11th house. The 11th house in the natal chart is your dreams, your goals. I'm hearing priorities in the direction you're going, but it's also connected to groups. And oh yeah, that did channel through like groups of people, associations, networks, collaborations, friends, social things as well. So there's definitely a lot of support here. And anything in those areas, oh, frog in my throat. And anything in those areas that was a distraction, it feels like you've just been able to really kind of like chop that off and be like, that's not important to me right now. I need to focus on where I'm going, what I'm doing, because it's so much bigger than myself and it's so much bigger than all that drama. Okay, we have the lizard and pitcher plant stagnation. This is what it felt like before. Like that's significant. And I'm hearing making amends. That's interesting. Who? With what? With people and priorities. I don't know what that means, but something about making amends with people and priorities. And I'm hearing dissipation, and there's something that's dissolving or falling away. But yeah, this stagnation energy here with the lizard and the pitcher plant feels like what I was being shown before about this lack of momentum that you had, this plateau, this very extended period of like walking through the desert with no water and having to endure and continue and feeling like you're on a treadmill to nowhere. But all that time you were really experiencing the propulsion that was very internally motivated and focused, and it was creating this determination in you to pursue and the skill of that. And then the wolf and rosehip guardianship. And like this is spirits affirming what they already said and what they showed me, which is like they rode with you the whole time. And they will continue to. And spirit is also working through the people that are around you as well, because I'm being shown and I'm seeing a notice board or being put on notice of something. It's like the people around you guard you through bringing your attention to things that you need or supporting you. I'm hearing delegate, and I'm being shown a delegation of like UN officials. That's interesting. So it's like these people that are maybe in different arenas or areas, but you're all collaborating and working together. And there's like this mutual benefit that comes to all. And I'm being shown a garden with a bunch of different pollinators, bumblebees, and different things like that. And I'm being shown a network. So productivity and this network seem to be intertwined, and spirit works through other people around you who are in alignment with this goal or this dream, this manifestation through their guardianship of you. Like they support you, you support them. But just in different ways, slightly differing ways, but they're there nonetheless. The goat and willow overcoming obstacles. I was getting kind of Capricorn energy from you guys. You don't have to be a Capricorn, but it's the energy archetype of Capricorn, which is very determined, very goal-oriented, ruled by Saturn. So it's all about like that slow burn and tests through time and overcoming obstacles and building the skill of determination and this perseverance, this grit. And I'm hearing the word temperance as well, and like tempering yourself to increase this. I'm hearing solidarity, but it's like it manifests as patience to be able to pursue something that's very important to you, because it's not a short-term goal. It's a long-term prosperous achievement is really what it feels like here. And it's not just about what you're building on the outside, but what this is shaping you into, and those internal skills that you've developed and are continuing to develop, that you're developing. Yeah, the Ram. I always say that with this card. Ram Dass always comes through. The Ram and Dahlia, determination. Aries with the Ram here too. And it feels strongly like you're not being hard-headed here. You're being determined. Did I even say that with the Ace of Lockpicks? Ace of Pentacles was the gift, something about determination? I can't remember, because once I get into channeling mode, it kind of, it's like, it's a sieve. My mind's a sieve and everything just flows through it. Don't hang on to much, but it feels like it was connected to that. I think I mentioned it. Oh, and look what's on the bottom, the B, productivity. This is what it is. And balance. That's temperance, dragonfly and pansy. So you've really learned to adjust and balance and create mental clarity around how to be most productive and to remain determined to overcome major obstacles that stood in your way, and also trusting and having faith that you are surrounded by a benevolent group of souls, individuals, people, or guardian spirits, and or all of the above, that are helping you to reduce friction in times of stagnation so that you can stay on track and on course and create whatever this is, this beautiful creation that you are making here. Now, I'm being called to this side of the channeled messages deck from Spirit. Let's see what we've got going on here. Capricorn season could have been very significant. We're moving out of that now into Aquarius, and Aries season, March and April, could be very significant as well. Okay. Something about the months of fall, and I'm being shown that connected to stagnation. Through the fall months, you may have experienced limited productivity, either because of external forces or sources, or because no matter how hard you worked, it just didn't prove fruitful in some way. Ooh, heart healing. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is part of it. Oh, yeah, this is part of it. Protection. Oh my God, you're so guardianship and protection. You're very protected. And if you had to go slow, or if you felt like things weren't working, you know, it's like that saying, rejection is protection, or redirection is protection. In this case, it was like going slow. I'm being shown a tortoise and a hare. Going slow was for your protection, so that you didn't slip and fall, so that you had a good footing and anchoring, so that you were continuing to develop this determination, so that if you, because say for example, you got there really fast and you weren't fully ready yet in terms of the level of heart healing or the level of, I'm hearing something about succinct dictation, but I meant the level of internal determination and that like grit and perseverance. If you didn't have that skill, or even some like beneficial physical skill that you needed to develop, you wouldn't have been ready to handle what came in, and it wouldn't have lasted long term. So it's like all of the time that went into this was building it so that it could be sustainable. And this feels like a lifetime. This feels like a legacy type of thing. So it's not something that you want to rush, because if you were to rush it, then it would just easy come, easy go. It's that kind of thing. Like it comes in and then it falls away, like a sieve, kind of like when I'm channeling, like it comes in and then it goes really quickly. Nothing really settles or stays. And that's why this took some time, or has been taking a lot of time, because this is what's determining the outcome. Ah, sandwich. Sandwich. Diary and level up. I'm hearing keep track, make note. Oh, and the sandwich. That's funny. I've never gotten that message from sandwich before. Don't back down on the bottom. Yeah. Beware, but don't back down. Be aware. Sage cleansing could be important. But the sandwich was giving me this message about if you had doubt crop up, sandwich it on front to back with something constructive, something that makes you feel productive. If there was a temporary setback or a failure, sandwich it with something that makes you feel successful. So it was really this process is you building up your own perseverance. That's really strongly what's coming through group number 1. Okay, and I'm being shown the archetypes deck, so we're going to go in with that now as well. I don't know why I've been showing all the books in this reading, but we'll show the book as well, the archetypes. Let's see. Definitely leveling up. And leveling up over a long period of time, and that's why having a diary or a journal or tracking this, I'm hearing something about metrics. It's like tracking the metrics helps you see more constructively how this has benefited you and been beneficial over time. I'm being shown like analytics, and you can see like, oh, it's down here and then up there. Instead of just having it all be in your head, there's something more concrete here about this. Or maybe other people are the metrics as well. Like you can see how they've seen you change, or how they're supporting you, or how that's all beneficial in some way together. A lot of heart healing. Okay, we have, Thanatos, death, and the ocean. You may have felt like at some points that you were drowning in the ocean, like a goat out to sea. Although Capricorn has the goat head body, he's also got the mermaid or like fish tail. So you weren't completely out of your element, but you were a little bit out of your element. And it feels like you really had to do some underworld navigation. I'm hearing tracking again, like tracking something, analytics. Tracking, it's like the cycles of the moon, the cycles of life, the inflow, outflow of the tide. Being able to track something in that way is very helpful here, because it shows you the template for like the timing on what's going to be most productive. Yeah, I'm being shown like you wouldn't want to build a sandcastle when you know that the tide's going to come in. And maybe you kept trying to do that, and the determination wasn't enough. Like you needed to know the timing, you needed to practice self-restraint, you needed to understand what the goal actually required of you. And maybe if you wanted to build a castle, it didn't need to be made of sand, and it didn't need to be right next to the ocean when the tide came in. It's that kind of thing. Maybe you go build it up on a cliff somewhere, or you build it out of stone. It's like the 3 little piggies, house made of straw, house made of sticks, house made of bricks. And it feels like you really went through this trial and error and a lot of like failure, which is actually a good thing, because the failure taught you temperance. It taught you what did and doesn't work. And it's helping you to overcome any periods of stagnation, any periods of difficulty, any death cycles. And it's actually like opening up your heart is what I'm being shown clairvoyantly. It's opening up your heart, or it has, and it's helping you to see things from a much larger and even distant perspective, like the star. But it's not intangible or far off or unreachable. It's quite manageable for you. And something about management or executive functioning could be part of this as well. Planning, prioritizing, executing, categorizing, implementing, all of those things are coming up in this reading. And Thanatos wants me to go a little deeper, so we'll read Thanatos. Yeah, death. Okay, so it is tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as transformation, but the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot be easily assimilated or contained. I also want to mention, I just want to pause here for a second. I want to mention that I did a Nyx reading the other day, and because Nyx was channeling through in a couple of different readings, and she introduced herself to me, and I had to research into who she was, what she represents, and all of that. And Thanatos is one of her children, so just want to mention that as well. So death is ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth. Witnessing the ending of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. We are forever changed by Thanatos as it sweeps us under its wings, making us relinquish control in every form. It leaves a mark of ash upon our heart healing, signifying we have touched the cusp of the underworld and will return to the land of the living eventually, with more compassion and wisdom to share. This capacity is needed in our world, and I'm hearing much needed. One who has faced the annihilation of Thanatos can face anything. When this card appears, it signifies an initiation into the underworld. When in the light, it's grieving, mourning, bearing witness to all that is. When in the dark, it's a fear of insensitivity to old age, illness, or the dying. And it feels like this was part of it. It was this wisdom of self-compassion to endure and to increase your capacity to continue to go through phases or cycles of annihilation, and continue to persist. It's a very difficult thing to do, but once you've mastered that, and I think this is part of the major skill that you've really grown, increased, your strength in, you can really face anything. You can really face anything. Facing Thanatos, death, leads to aletheia, truth. And I'm hearing the truth of the ocean. Neptune could be significant here as well. The planet Neptune, or maybe the god Neptune too. Should we read the ocean? No, it's not necessary, I'm hearing. Okay. But there is one more card or one more deck that's calling me. I don't have the guidebook for this one on hand, so we'll just go in. Final closing message for group number 1. Thank you, Spirit. I'm hearing guardians again, and guardianship and guardian source. I'm hearing, seeing a heart field protection ring around you. The force field of the heart's very protective, very strong. Beats with persistence, never gives up, I'm hearing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm being shown like a graph of a heart beating, like at the hospital or at the doctor, it's like it keeps beating. Oh, but death is when it stops. Yeah, okay, interesting. The thorn. Oh, I heard the thorn in your side will be removed. And finally, that's coming through. Finally. And there's some rest that really comes with that. Because it feels like you really, again, you had to persevere through a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges. The bee kind of stung you in its own pursuit of productivity. But not without, it's not been in vain. That's what I want to say. It's not been in vain. Okay, I just heard beggars can't be choosers. And I think that maybe you're doing away with that mentality and being like, you know what, I can choose no matter where I am. I can have this grit. I can develop this skill. The death and transformation here helped you to kind of face difficulties in a way that transformed your approach to life. That's what this feels like. And it feels like something about good works. I'm hearing good works. I'm being shown a pyramid shape. Yeah, this, again, it will last a long time. The energy of this, the amount of effort that's put into this will last eons. I do want to read the thorn, so I'm going to find the book. Hold on. Oh, it's right here. Okay, that was easy. It's the Wild Child Oracle card. So I guess we got to show the books in all of this. Maybe books are significant, or guidebooks. Again, like guidance, protection. Let's find the thorn. Okay, the thorn. Sometimes the sweetest treat grows among the prickliest brambles. Oh, sweet, sweet brambles, a cradle for objects of desire, when two wishes are destined to collide, each obliged to a price of their own. One must bleed to obtain a treasure, the other forfeit warmth to flourish. When two sides can't agree a shared end, no payment will be worth the outcome. Very apropos, I feel. So I'm not even going to analyze that. I'm just going to leave that there. That wisdom is what it is. So that's what you needed to know. And I keep being brought back here to don't back down. That's what you needed to know, group number 1. And I hope this reading is helpful. Take it and continue on your process and your journey with the knowing that this guidance is within you. And I'm also hearing the word gnosis. Gnosis. that inner knowing and self-development is the key. Very crucial. Okay, guys, that's the message. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next reading. I'm hearing take your time. Okay, we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 2. Welcome to your reading. You guys were drawn to the Strength card, and the first thing that I want to note here is that I'm actually doing your group first, which I very, very, very rarely do. I am a stickler for continuity in terms of my process because it just makes it a lot easier for me to move through the readings and stitch them together in editing and etc. So the fact that I'm doing your reading first feels very important. Okay, so I'm hearing the word influential. Influential. Somebody strong or of a strong mind is coming through, and they are very influential. This could be you or someone else or someone that you're attracted to. But there's an influence that they have that holds a lot of power behind it. Okay. So I'm being drawn to actually get some channeled message cards out. This chunk is too big, so let me just do a little something real quick here. I'm just gonna, I don't know, mix them up a bit. I'm hearing wild-eyed abandon. Wild-eyed abandon. Okay, these kind of want to be here, but I'll put them in the group so that we can get something. And oh, I also wanted to say a big thank you to Leanna for sending us the Skyrim Tarot deck. One of my favorite video games of all time. And Leanna is a longtime fan, friend, listener, subscriber, member, and I'm just so thankful to you, Leanna. So thank you for that. Okay, so what is this that we're talking about for group number 2? What is it that they need to know right now in regard to this strength and influential person baked in? I'm hearing something about a season. Seasoning something so that's baked in, or a season of your life. I'm being shown sizzling hot, and it feels like summer. Okay, so something in summer could be significant. I'll take that one. The chunk that just fell out, I didn't feel called to take it, but there's one on top that I did feel energetically. It was like sort of like a magnet. Okay, we have enslaved. Let's see what this is. Love. Okay. Ooh, I'm not going to get ahead of myself and start making any assumptions yet before we get more information on the table. But I mean, if you look at this, we're talking about strength and influence. Somebody who has a strong influence over you, or who you have a strong influence over, or something just contemplative I'm hearing, but something at like a larger scale that is very strong in its influence. And love is one of those, right? When we experience that release of oxytocin, that bonding hormone, love can liberate us or it can enslave us depending on the context and the person. But it feels like there's something in the summertime related to this. And I keep hearing the word contemplate, so you might want to be doing some thinking about this, or maybe you have already. Flowering. I feel this one too. Pursued. Okay, so there could be a blossoming romance that's very, very strong in the summertime, or an expanding romance that's really starting to flower or to show its... I'm hearing proof of the seed, okay? So something in the summer, and you need to know this because it's like, I guess you just want to contemplate before it happens. It's kind of what I'm getting here from Spirit, like they want you to contemplate before it happens so you can have a good understanding of what's going down. We have flow. Something about Aunt Flo, Menzies, $100,000. Okay. I'm hearing love and money, identity, and how this relates to your identity. What are you pursuing? How strong is the magnetized, something about magnetic pull? How is this all baked in together? What are the ingredients? How have they mixed together? Are they flowing or are they trapping? And then A+. Okay. On the bottom we have finite. Feels like striving for something. Really trying to battle for something, to grasp it in your hands, to be strong enough to have that show up. Something about the sands of time. I'm hearing the sands of time, flowing through the sands of time. And I keep hearing something about love. And I heard love escapes me. Where have you felt that love has escaped you? Where have you been pursued by love that you did not want, or enslaved by love that you felt like you could not get? Where did you feel like you needed to prove yourself to receive that, or that you were unworthy of it? And where is love somehow also tied up in your mind, connected to money and the pursuit of such things? Okay, now the summer seems to be significant, and it feels to me like something is growing. Something that was like under the sands of time starts to peek its head through, and I'm seeing like a sandbox with a flower growing out of it. So a seed that was planted in a seemingly inhospitable soil starts to grow, and you begin to notice something is different. Something is changed. Perhaps it is you, or it's you in this season of your life, but something is different. Okay, we have the Emperor, masculine, and I'm hearing something about that masculine being connected here to this power of strength. Where has the masculine... Oh, look at that. The way I put that down, I didn't realize, but it flow. This is flower, right? But it covered up the ER, and now it's just said flow, flow, flow. Flowing, pursued, flow, pursued, flow. Masculine energy is very much baked into this message. Knight of Voices. That's the Knight of Cups. Love. The pursuit of love. Oh my God, love is such a powerful force. Very strong. Hanged Man, and, oh, surprise, Death card underneath. It feels like letting things flow in their natural direction is really important here. Because something was you were hung up on someone or something. The idea of something, the idea of either proving yourself or attaching your identity to a certain paycheck or to a certain romantic partner, or to receiving love from a partner, to being pursued. It feels something like that, and don't take it personally if it's not personal. But do take it personally if it is, because Spirit's asking you to contemplate these concepts, how they apply to you, where they apply to you, when have they applied to you. And something about the summer keeps coming back up into my mind again, and it feels like there's a new pattern. Actually, I'm hearing, okay, new pattern. The Six of Spells, this is the Six of Wands, new pattern, very successful, A+. Feels like something you've been really trying to figure out for a long time. A long time. Like, this is an epic saga. This is not just like a trilogy. This is a big whole series here. Chronicles of your life. And how love has been kind of like woven through the stories, and each chapter, or each I'm hearing the word partition, each section, how they're separated into different books. It's like this era of my life, this era of my life, this era of my life. And the love has been woven into all of that. But you'd want to look at where it was, or maybe how it was written in each chapter or in each book as a whole. And I'm hearing take notice. Take notice of what? The Seven of Spells, Seven of Wands. Take notice of where you need to have more boundaries and to strengthen or firm up your identity, to shore up some wounds here in regard to romantic approach, pursuit, and flow. Okay. You're taking something off the pedestal. I just heard that as well. And that was what was enslaving you. Maybe an idea of someone or something, or an idea of yourself that you needed to perform to become or to prove that you were. It's like you're taking yourself or that person or the idea of this concept off of the pedestal. And even, I just heard off of the table. So on some level, maybe you're taking it off the table entirely, meaning you're not dependent on that anymore. And so it can't enslave you and it can't keep you hung up. Now, the Hanged Man does talk about contemplation, and I've been hearing that throughout your reading group too. And I'm hearing you come first, and okay, that's why I was called to your reading, doing it first instead of group 1. You come first, group 2. This feels like you're prioritizing yourself and you're baking love into the equation of your own identity, and you're doing very well at that, or you're going to be proving to yourself that you can handle that. Even if you're going through releases and losses, sometimes when we move out of enslavement or we move out of a period of stagnation or an old way of doing things, like we start to construct new patterns, it's liberating, but it can also feel and come with a loss and some grief. Because even though those times were difficult, they were part of our story. And it's sometimes painful to let that go, because we can sometimes come to identify with those experiences as a part of ourself, or those ways of operating as a part of ourself. And what you need to know here is that you don't have to go down that road anymore. You don't have to walk that path. And in fact, I don't think that you are. Like, you won't be doing that. And you're doing it so differently that you may need to allow yourself to just flow with the process of life. To let things flower also means that you need to understand where those seeds were dying off in places they weren't meant to be. Now, it's still strange to me that the flower is blooming in the sandbox, but it feels like it's because you've prepared it there in some way. So let me get some more information on that. How I'm being shown the Knight of Cups here, the Knight of Voices, watering that with love, watering the flower in the sandbox. It's like you overcompensated in some way for the lack of nutrition in the soil with an overabundance or pouring on of love through that water. 3 of Spells, 3 of Wands. You got a lot of spells here. A lot of magic. I heard Major Arcana, and we do have 2 here. The Emperor, 4 here. Strength, Emperor, Hanged Man, and Death. Major Arcana. And these are big pivot points in time. Like, these are big narrative shifts, plot points in the story that really shape the definition of the story itself and the character. And so I'm seeing this being part of your narrative arc. And I cannot say this enough times, group number 2. There's something about the summer. I don't know what it's going to be. And this could be context dependent for you, and so you'll have to wait and see, I guess. But there's something about summertime that is going to be very significant. 2 of Cups, 2 of Voices, love, union, unification, coming together. I'm hearing prosperous. And on the bottom, Wheel of Fortune, justice. Wow. And 10 of Swords. It feels like this old pattern, this pattern of enslavement. It was very mental, okay? It was very mental, but it did take form. It took form in the types of relationships that were attracted. It took form in the type of love that was baked into your life. It took form in the type of product that came from the seeds or lack thereof. And you know what this majorly feels like? It's an identity shift. I mean, I've kind of mentioned that already, but it's coming back up again. This is an identity shift that helps you to step into a new season of your life. Maybe that's why summer's coming up. Maybe it's not as literal. 5 of Spells just fell out as well. Maybe it's not as literal as I'm taking it. It could be. You never know with spirit. But it's kind of like you're stepping into a new season of your life, and this is the season where things do really start to flower, where you actually start to see the equation playing out in real time, and the consequences are there. Now, I don't mean consequences in a negative connotation. Let's look at it very neutrally, in a neutral, objective perspective of, okay, this is just the result of this action, or the result of this pattern. Now, I did just hear the word entrapment, which I think, like, obviously that's connected to the enslaved energy, and I'm feeling it sort of here mishmashed with the hanged man. But I'm hearing guidance to avoid something. What are they being guided to avoid? The strength to look away, I'm hearing. Look away from what? Okay, I heard prepared for battle, and that 5 of Wands did come out. 5 of Spells, 5 of Wands. So it's kind of like, it's not, you're not ignoring, you're not sticking your head in the sand, but you're kind of like being selective about where you give your attention, i.e. your energy, where you put your focus, where you put your creative force. Because you have a lot of energy flowing through you. And it's going to pick up energetically, like the pace is going to pick up in this new season, this new cycle. And so you do have to be not guarded, although that word just did come through, but I'm feeling it more like you need to be a little bit prepared here. And that's why Spirit is saying you need to know this now so you can contemplate on what these themes actually mean. And so you can articulate better when these things come around, set some boundaries if you need to, or just be very conscientious about what's going on. And I'm hearing the word sentient, being like aware of the form that your life takes and how that energy can force itself or it can flow. And so being aware of where there's any like battle tactics or entrapment or enslavement when it comes to the idea of value and how you value love, how you value money, how you value yourself. How is that all mixed together? And how can you be strong yet subtle in your pursuit? I'm hearing the word experience, but I was going to say in your pursuit of what sets you free, but I don't even really feel like that's a true statement. I think that you're already free. And the Justice card was there, right? So it's like, you're already free. But it's like, it feels more like as soon as you decide that you are, you are. And I am hearing better partnerships, especially if you experienced a lot of betrayal. Yeah, especially if you experienced a lot of betrayal and you felt trapped by that, or trapped into situations that kept you in that type of partnering pattern, especially if you internalized it and identified it as something that was like your fault or something that you couldn't escape. You're not trapped by that. The fairness here, the balance is in your ability to kind of zoom out a bit and look at these patterns and to see why those things shaped you the way that they did, or why they hindered you the way that they did, and how spreading the love too thin, I'm hearing, may have left you feeling drained and limited your flow, and that may have felt like it was trapping you. It may have been just that you were exhausted. But if you replenish that love, if you let it flower now, I'm hearing flower now, that's going to shift things and I'm seeing an upward trajectory. Like it's not a steep hill, but it is a hill going upward, or it's a slant. It's an incline. And you are ascending up that incline. And it feels to me as you move up that it does take strength. Like if you've ever walked uphill on, the street, or a hike, or even just at the gym on a treadmill, if you put it on max incline, you do build a lot of muscle doing that, or you have to use the muscle that you have to do that, and it increases as you go along. It's like baked into the whole process, but it helps you get where you're going, and it strengthens you in the process. Now, it does exhaust you. It can be very tiring. But the difference here is that you're not becoming tired or drained by things that limit the flow of energy or put it in the wrong direction. That's like a waste of time, waste of energy, waste of life force, and instead you're investing it into things that do come back. It's reciprocal. That's 2 of Cups energy. It's reciprocal, whether it's friendship, whether it's platonic, or whether it's romantic. It just feels to me like what you're doing is bettering you. And this new cycle of life is going to show you that. Like, you're going to see the evidence of that poking up above the surface, meaning it's going to manifest in your life in a way that's quite tangible. And this new story that you're telling, this new identity, this version of yourself is much more free to, I'm hearing egoically adapt. Interesting. Okay, so it's like your ego has gotten stronger, but in a good way. Like, the ego is not always a bad thing. It's a weak shadow ego that is detrimental, that keeps us enslaved or disempowered or in negative cycles. It's a strong ego that has a good sense of self-concept and a strong personal identity that's also malleable. You know, something that's strong but not flexible is actually quite weak because it's brittle and it can break easily when it's pushed a little bit. So this strength feels malleable, adaptable, and it flows. It flows really, really nicely, and you're going to see that. You're going to see that in the types of relationships you attract, the types of people that you're connecting to, or that the types of people that want to shower you. But it's interesting because it's like, you're so confident or settled in yourself that no matter what you're offered, even if it's offered up on a silver platter, you're not attached to it. You're just like, yeah, okay, that's something. And then you just flow through life. And you keep working to better yourself. You keep working to strengthen that muscle of non-attachment is kind of what it feels like. And this really opens the floodgates of true and profound love. And not just the oxytocin type of love, although that's part of it. But I'm being shown, okay, this is interesting. I'm being shown like blocked neuroreceptors in your brain before, and it's like cortisol receptors were being activated when it should have been oxytocin. It's kind of like love was blocked, or it was over-attached to because that stress hormone, the cortisol, was correlated to the dopamine release and the serotonin and all of these feel-good chemicals and bonding hormones like oxytocin. And so it's kind of like, before, you may have experienced things like trauma bonding in relationships and like deep emotional wounding and patterns like that, like drama cycles and stuff. But now it's different. Now the energy is free flowing. It's not blocked. And quite literally, the neuroreceptors are reflecting that. Maybe it's chicken and the egg, which one came first, I don't know, but the energy has changed. I can say that for sure. And now you're much better able to handle shifts and changes. You're releasing things with less tension. You are using your energy more efficiently, and your effort is producing better results. That's it. Better results. And I'm hearing 101, and it's kind of like, you might even be teaching this in some way, or sharing this, or just you embodying this as a model of it is like spreading the word in some way. You're setting a really good example here. So like, keep doing that. And if you don't feel like you're there yet, just wait, because if you think about this now and you start applying this now, by the next season of your life, or in this next cycle, possibly literally by summertime, things could be very, very different and much, I want to say like bigger than you expected, because I'm being shown a magnifying glass, or maybe that magnifying glass is signifying looking a bit closer at these things, contemplating on them, understanding how they fit together, so you can make these changes and surmise what you need to escape, or for yourself, or to just release and let go of what was, so that you step into this very successful relationship dynamic with yourself and with others. And you're stronger for it. Okay. Last message, building strong, firm foundations on what was once finite. It feels like it becomes less finite. Oh, and I'm being drawn to the House of Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle, so we'll get a closing message from here. Things are less finite because they're just able to flow. So there's an infiniteness to that, because flow of energy, it's like energy equals MC squared, energy, mass, but it just kind of feels like a quantum push I'm getting coming through. But yeah, it feels like you are able to, what is the word I'm looking for here? Come on, help me out, Spirit. I'm hearing wiggle room, like you've got wiggle room to play with here, because energy is not created or destroyed, it just changes form. Okay, let's see what we want to... Closing message here from Spirit. What wants to come through? Thank you. Confidence. Yes. See, you are becoming more confident. Your identity is getting stronger because you are more malleable. You're able to flow better. The confidence is really baked in because the love is baked in. When are we confident? When we're secure in ourselves. Our own relationship with self is strong. That is when we are confident. Okay, number 42. I do want to read this from the book. There are a few of my chosen ones who have the confidence and courage to live forever. Ooh, live forever versus the finite. Yeah, it's like you realize that you're an infinite being and you're not finite. Your ego is finite. And that's maybe why you're taking some of that distorted finite energy away from the ego and its desires and pursuits and being like, you know what, let's invest these and pursue things that are actually more important. Okay. There is one such immortal being who has kept this oracle safe in a castle in the Isle of Skye to be given to you when the time is right. This time is now. This is your time. The world needs you. Much is going to be asked of you as you move through your life's challenges and receive my gifts. Know that I have chosen you and that you have everything you need to make the right decision. Walk with your head held high and take the next step toward your goal with confidence. I will be with you every step of the way. So confidence to take that next step and realizing that this is your time. Wheel of Fortune, the wheel spins, indicating time, and the fortune is, I'm hearing the fortune is thine, meaning yours. Yes. And this is divine justice. It's like there's a time and place for everything, and the time and the place is now for you, or it starts now. It begins now. And look at the number page. I just noticed the page of the number. The number of the page is 111. This is a new beginning. Very fresh. Okay? So take that with you as you go into the summer months or whenever this new season starts. The confidence is the key. Bake that in with unconditional love for self and pursuit of knowledge that benefits you over time. Okay, much love, group number 2. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose the 6 of Arms, which in this particular deck is the 6 of Swords. And big thank you to Leanna for gifting us this Skyrim tarot deck, which is so freaking cool. Skyrim's one of my favorite video games of all time. And the 6 of Swords here, I'm hearing beware and something about notorious. Whoa, hold on. Notorious B.I.G., but I'm also being shown like a notorious outlaw, obsessed with treasure and gold and thievery, hiding out in the forbidden forest in the woods. Okay, that's an interesting image right off the bat in your reading. Something about storytelling could be significant here for you, or like moving into unknown territory or zones of the mind and the imagination. Especially something about clairvoyance is coming through too. Being able to channel imagery and using the imagination to describe something or to move you from one state of being to another. That's also coming through. Something about Norfolk, I'm not sure what that's talking about. And what is necessary. And I'm being shown like Sweden. Sweaters that people wear in Sweden in the winter. Okay, intriguing. A lot channeling through in your reading group number 3 that didn't happen quite as much in groups 1 and 2. So it feels like you are special in the sense that, I mean, everybody's special, but I'm seeing this kind of like speciality that you have in the mind. Swords are the arms cards, are the mind. And it's like, I'm hearing something about problem solving, but it's like you can really kind of play out anything in your mind. And I'm hearing anagram. So very mentally oriented, very mentally focused. And there's like a diagram that I'm being shown as well. We haven't even gotten into the cards yet. My God, it's like it's just all in the imagination. It's all in the creation zone of the mind and mental flexibility. And I'm being shown like your brain is this muscle that's very, very strong. A lot of future potential there. And you have this capacity to be able to utilize the strength of your brain, your mind, your dynamic responsibility, not responsibility well, maybe in the sense of like, I'm responsible with this. And yes, but I'm seeing responsibility as in like your ability to respond or to receive something as a response. It's interesting. And I'm hearing the word dynamic and flexibility, and I'm being shown like brain waves, being able to flex between different. Oh my God, there's just way too much coming through in your reading. Holy crap, group number 3. I'm being shown like the brain waves, theta brain waves, alpha brain waves. It's like you're flexing between those. You're able to the visual cortex is all lit up. The auditory, the temporal lobes is all lit up. Wernicke's area is all lit up. All of these different areas of the brain are so supplied with psychic intel. Oh my God. And you need to know this. You need to know this, that it's not just a passing fancy. It is really and truly this ability, this psychic connection, this continuity too, and something about you spotting continuity errors. You know, when you're watching a show or a movie and you can tell that they've cut between different scenes or different takes because the glass in the water is lower in one shot and it's higher in the next, you're able to shoot. I'm hearing something about shooting and dynamic shooting. I'm being shown filmmaking. You're very able to process things at this super high level that other people might not notice. And I am hearing special, so maybe this is a special ability. Maybe this is something. I'm hearing entrainment and attunement and in tune. Oh my God. It's like the fast flow of your thought and psychic ability, your mind. It's like almost overwhelming to me. And I'm already someone who sort of works and functions like that. It's like, it's very fast. The flow is very fast. And I'm a Gemini rising, so I work with very fast, frequent energy in the mind. I'm very malleable and adaptable. Maybe you're something like that, but it just, even for me, it's like a bit much. Okay, let's dive into your cards. Jeez Louise, what a gift though. Like it's a lot, but it's a gift. And you can spot things, like you can spot changes, you can spot patterns, you can spot and create imagery. You can make things happen. Something about dialectical and behavioral changes, like you can alter your own brain. My God, okay. The 5 of spells, that's 5 of wands. You know what I'm being shown is like all of these different parts of the brain kind of sometimes battling against each other. And it may lead to frustration because it's like there's just so much going on all at once that all of these thoughts are competing for center stage in the mind, or all of these ideas are competing for you to produce something out of them or to create something. It's just kind of like there's an overwhelm or overflow of ability mentally, which can sometimes kind of gum things up. You know, it's like if everyone tries to walk through the door at once, everyone gets stuck in that passageway. So like, I guess maybe in some contexts, slowing things down or having them. No, but that doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel right to me in your energy group 3 to like slow it down. No, it's not about slowing it down. Maybe it's just about wrangling things, you know, like I'm being shown a sheep herder, a collie herding sheep, and he's like running really quickly to shape all of these sheep running and like mold them to get them through the fence. Yeah, okay, interesting. And both of those imagery that I was just shown is like a bunch of different things or people moving through either a gate or a door, like a passageway or a portal in the mind. I'm being shown like an open portal in the mind. And so much wants to flow through there. So your job is to like wrangle it. Yeah, like being the sheep herder. Knight of Spells, To corral. That's the word Spirit just said. Yes, thank you. Thank you. To corral. Knight of Wands. Very much, yeah. It's Knight of Wands energy is like raring to go. And in the traditional tarot, we'll take that. The horse that the Knight of Wands is riding is the only horse that's really pulled back and restrained, because the Knight of Wands is having to yank and restrain him because there's just so much energy raring to go. And I'm hearing it's agonizing. So I'm hearing didn't you know or don't you know? It's okay. There's something about this that is, it's like you know what you know and you know what you need to do. And so maybe there's a little bit of impulsivity here, or maybe there's like a lot of impulsivity here, but it's not a bad thing to me. It feels like it needs to be trained or entrained or corralled in some way so that it's more useful, but it's not a bad thing. The Chariot, yeah, it needs to be put in the right direction. The Chariot is usually two horses running side by side, and they have to be in alignment, because if one horse wants to go this way and one wants to go this way, the Chariot is going to be going nowhere, right? It's just going to tumble over itself. Same thing with all of these people trying to get through the door at the same time. That passageway needs to be clear, and they either need to form single file line or they can go through two at a time. But it's like there needs to be sort of like a semblance of order amidst this chaos of the mind and all of like the speed at which it moves. Like, my God, this is fast, 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 fast energy. So fast. Something about a Uranus transit could be significant as well. Uranus transiting some area of your chart. It could be lighting that up, causing major shifts, big breakthroughs, big shocking changes, massive energy downloads and upgrades that happen very quickly out of the blue. Big downloads come into you where they move very quickly, like at the speed of light kind of thing. And you have to maybe prioritize how you work with that energy, how you bring it into physicality, how you work with it mentally, psychically, and how you take action with whatever it is that you're receiving. Wheel of Fortune. I'm hearing moving things around. Yeah, the wheel. But what are you moving around? Maybe even your body needs to move around, or you need to move, because the Six of Swords does talk about movement as well. It's like transit from one place to another. Transit of the mind. An altered perspective, but it's even like movement physically. It can be movement over water. Movement would be helpful. And I keep hearing entrainment. Okay, so the Seven of Spells, the Seven of Wands. Something about makers and machines. I'm being shown like computer processing. And you have to have certain firewalls, or you have to have certain like limiters on how much like the data is processing. I don't know anything about computers, but that's what I'm being shown. Like the inner workings of them anyway. I know how to use them, but well, basic, very basic knowledge. But there's something about like the way that this energy moves through you and how it's set up in your system, like how your brain is able to handle it, how your body is able to process it. That there needs to be some kind of like a dampening switch to not have it overload, if that makes sense. If there's any like computer programmers or CPU people here, I don't know, like, can you help me with this? I don't know what this is, but I'm just being shown that it's kind of like it needs some processing delays in a sense to help it to move through the system. And there's something about word processing as well, dialect processing, and functional centers of the brain that process vocal tones, sound, and the shape that the mouth makes when we form words. There's something about that as well. And something about the synaptic cleft in the brain, which is like the median point between the left and right brain. Knight of Cups. I'm hearing soothing, self-soothing, stimming. Are you guys in this group neurodivergent? It feels like it. and I am neurodivergent, so like it takes one to know one. But if you're not, don't worry about it. Maybe you just kind of like operate at this higher level, even if you have a neurotypical brain. But like I'm ADHD and autistic, and so I'm highly sensitive and highly psychic and like very up in the mind, and it feels similar to my own energy. It's not quite the same, but it's similar enough that I'm like, oh, I know what that is. Queen of Swords. Yeah, very much stimulation in the mind is on like extra. So much oomph up there. And it does need to be sort of contained in some way, or it needs like a proper container. Maybe even your vessel, the body, needs to be able to contain it a bit better. I'm being shown the skull and the brain inside the skull and the fluid that contains the brain. What is that called? Like I'm hearing encephalograph. What is that? Like an EEG or EKG? Like a brain scan. But the spinal fluid that surrounds the brain and cushions it from hitting the skull, or something about, the brain and like the way that psychic information and downloads transmit to and through your skull. And I'm hearing your synapses, like your literal brain and the neurons. Page of Swords as well. You are a receiver. You're like a walking transmitter, and I'm hearing teleporter. What? Yeah, movement again. Movement between one place and another. Maybe you're even teleporting between different like times psychically somehow. Like time jumping, quantum leaping. 3 of Cups. And I'm hearing doing it in collaboration. So you tap into a lot of collective energy here, group number 3. Spirit needed you to know this, at least in this context. Maybe you already know this, but they're either reaffirming it to you or they're expanding your knowledge base on this, and they want you to tap into that further. But there's something about these inhibitors in the mind, delayed processing, that makes it difficult in some functional areas of life. Like moderating your physical life can be difficult, whereas they're necessary to reduce the speed of transmission of some of this psychic data that you're processing, which is like massive. I'm being shown data centers, like huge, sprawling, all of these like switches and switchboards and like computer things and all of that stuff. It's like you're that, like your brain is doing that times a trillion, infinity, off into infinity. Like I don't even know how to quantify that. Quantum physics could also be important here, quantum science. And we have the 4 of Pentacles. Grounding into physicality may be difficult for you. I'm getting physical movement coming through again. Sorry, these are kind of like off center a bit. I was just so in the channel, I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on the table. Maybe you feel like that too. It's like you get kind of distracted by the mind because, and I'm hearing corralled. It's like it needs some kind of definition here to give it some semblance of continuity or some semblance of order in the timeline. 3 of Pentacles on the bottom. Collaborating with people that help you to regulate your nervous system could be helpful here, and grounding tools are also very helpful. Getting into the body, externalizing some of this energy literally through movement, maybe through physical exercise, through the body, or through something about applied metrics. I'm hearing applied metrics. I don't know what that means. I'm just seeing like all of these computer screens and like all of these different like data. There's like a graph bar on one side. There's like an audio register on one side. On one computer, there's like some like pie chart on another one, or like a bar chart. There's an XY axis and like XYZ. And there's all of these different manuals for control. And it's like you're working like several different computers at once. You're like on this one and then this one and then this one. It's kind of insane. Like, and maybe sometimes you actually feel insane. You're like, I must be crazy. But no, you're just a data processing plant that's bigger than most people. And you do need extra grounding because of that. You do need like a landline or something that goes to the earth and stabilizes you, because your body is processing so much psychic information and data that it's not always conscious even of. So like you may not even be conscious that you're doing all of this, but my God, it's like you're this huge, massive radio signal tower. I'm seeing satellite dishes. You might be sensitive to cosmic energy, cosmic rays, literal technology, like electromagnetic frequencies, all of that. If that's the case, you can also protect through certain crystals like black tourmaline is really helpful for EMF protection. There's like, I'm hearing something about smart meters. I don't know what a smart meter is, but it's something connected to EMF protection as what I'm being shown. Smart meters. Yeah, so like you can use biogeometry. There's like pyramid tower energy, cube energy. There's all these different sources of energetic EMF protection that can be helpful. It's not going to limit all of it. I'm being shown microwaves now. It's not going to limit all of it, but because it feels like you're so sensitive to it, and maybe you didn't know that, maybe you did, but it's like you need to increase the frequency while decreasing the stimulation. Okay, that's what I'm being shown. You need to increase the frequency and decrease, like downplay the stimulation and the kind of like detrimental effects it may have on the body. Grounding can be really, really helpful. So grounding bath mat, I just heard. I don't have one of those or know what that is. Well, I guess it would just be like a mat like that has crystals that ground in it, or like has some kind of a, yeah, I don't know, something that helps you to ground, but I don't know why it's a bath mat, but something about the bathtub, doing energetic cleanses or spiritual cleanses of your body using, like, say for example, Epsom salts or sea salt in the bathtub could be helpful as well on a regular basis. Try to do it twice a week if you can, because you guys are seriously processing so much. A lot of it you don't even, it's like what you think you're processing is the tip of the iceberg. Let me put it that way. What you think you're processing is literally just the teeny tiniest little top of the iceberg. You have no clue how much is going on under the surface in your body, in your subconscious, in your psychic field, your auric body, like the layers of your energy body. It's like huge. You have a massive auric field, by the way. And it's kind of like the planet Jupiter. Maybe Jupiter is important too, but it's like it's got so much mass to it that it accumulates a lot. A lot is magnetized, attracted to it gravitationally because it has so much mass. So it pulls in a lot. It's kind of like that. You have a massive energetic field, and so you pull in a lot of information. And that's why you need to improve the data processing, which is going to be done by grounding. You need to ground, and you need to do it ritually. Like, make it part of your daily routine. Ground, 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 ground. And especially when you start to feel frazzled or fringed at the edges, I'm hearing something about fringe. If you start to feel paranoid, or if you start to feel dissociative, or you start to feel a bit disconnected from your body or from the people around you, or you just kind of start reeling and spiraling in the mind, or if you feel your thoughts racing and you're pacing, bring it back down, calm, soothe. And I'm hearing alter the approach. And I'm being shown an altar space, like a sacred space that you can go and kind of put some of that baggage down. Especially a safe space like a temple within your home, or even just within your mind, that feels protected from all of that outside accumulation of stimulus, accumulation of data. Really kind of set it down and let yourself just sit. And I'm being shown it all kind of trying to rush out of the body, and it needs a grounding wire to do that. So it's like, let it move out of your feet. Let it move out of your feet, because it's all kind of like swirling around the head and the heart. And these two rhythms of the head and the heart are sometimes off whack as well, and they need to be entrained together. They need to be I'm hearing assimilated. It's reminding me of the Borg from Star Trek, but it's not like that. It's just they need to be unified. The heart and the mind need to be working on the same frequency. Sometimes they're not, and that can make things more difficult. And then grounding to the body and out through the root. Push it out through the root. Okay, just the intention to do so, or the focus. Like, you have such a a magnifying mind that anywhere, it's like Sauron's eye, I'm seeing, it's like anywhere that you shine your telepathic eye on, it's going to be completely illuminated. And the power of that is just so heavy, but also very intangibly good. So it's like it's not evil, but it may feel like that to you sometimes because it's overpowering, or it can feel inundating, like overwhelming. Maybe you experience a lot of overstimulation. I know I do. And I have to deal with that on a constant basis, and it can lead to burnout. So really grounding, really anchoring, really shocking the system. Something about ice baths or cold baths. It may be too harsh for your nervous system, so you'd have to test this out if it works for you or not. For some people, it releases too much cortisol, and if your nervous system's already overwhelmed, that's going to be detrimental. But if something about fringe networks I'm hearing, but if you need to shock the system in some way, maybe this is just a metaphor for like kind of resetting it to like a basic sort of way of processing data. I'm seeing an abacus, like counting with these beads on a wire instead of having a calculator do all of this work and processing power. Maybe doing something in a simple way could help to ground you, or it could help to kind of get the basis of what's going on in the mind into something concrete. It's like a grounding for you. Okay. Where are we going? Now we're going to move into a little bit of clarification from the Everyday Witch Tarot. You guys have a lot of magic, can I just say? Like, you may or may not identify as like a magician or a witch or a wizard, but you have a lot of magic, and it really presents heavily through this psychic ability. Okay, Nine of Swords, and it almost wanted to rush out of my hand, but I caught it. Okay, Nine of Swords, this is like, I'm hearing temperance, tempering the mind, but this is like a lot of stress and anxiety, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of even like chronic stress disorders, fatigue, exhaustion, burnout, panic disorders, things like that can manifest because there's too much energy in the body. There's too much psychic download that hasn't been processed, and it backlogs, and you continue to download, and things get clustered, and they really get heavy. So psychically detoxing should be part of like your main practice, psychic detoxing every single day. Most of that's through grounding, but intention is really helpful as well. Knight of Swords. This is the fastest moving mental energy in the deck, Knight of Swords. And what did I say? You have the fastest moving mental energy. And so you do need to give it an outlet, either through grounding or through producing something. Moving physically could be very helpful as well for the mind, especially if your fight or flight sensory networks are activated. If your nervous system is out of its window of tolerance, the best way to bring it into, and at the same time widen the window of tolerance, is to do some necessary self-soothing, grounding, and regulation. Nine of Wands, burnout cycles could be significant for you guys, so watch that if that happens. Like if you go into work burnout or neurodivergent burnout, pay attention to those and make sure that you are assessing your needs accurately and making changes as necessary so that you're not afraid that will happen and it doesn't feel quite so much like it's out of your control. Two of Cups. Well, no, you didn't. Where was it? No, it was in groups 1 and 2. Every single group has gotten the Two of Cups, but this one's from a different deck than the other two, but the Two of Cups seems to be significant. And then you got the Seven of Swords underneath. And the Seven of Cups, 7, 4 of Swords. You need rest, and 6 of Swords, that's where we started here. You need rest to digest all of this information that's processing through you psychically and emotionally. Physically, there's some kind of dependence here. What is that? Archetype stack, thank you. Physically, there may be some kind of dependence here. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Maybe you're dependent on something outside of you to help regulate you. Maybe it's a person and you need co-regulation. Maybe it's a thing or a practice, but there's something about dependency to the outside. Okay, hold on. I felt this one and this one. Something about mushrooms I'm hearing. Okay, we have the nectar. And I'm hearing seating. And something about chairs. Oh, seating and seating. And then the destroyer. Oh boy. Okay. I want to read the nectar. The medicine, the elixir, the garden. In Hindu mythology, there is a miraculous substance known as amrit, or nectar, that contains infinite healing power. I'm hearing DMT, dimethyltryptamine. This golden nectar or sacred elixir is the drink of immortality, and like its sister substance, soma, is known to activate subtle intelligent forces that ease the mind, body, and spirit. Though esoteric, these images lead us to the central energy of this archetype, the sweet, potent, heavenly essence that lubricates our spirit back to life. The nectar card calls us to identify and relish in places, practices, people, and activities that regenerate and heal. Medicine is needed, and it comes in subtle form that you may be overlooking. Seek the most sensuous, fragrant flower in the garden you have forgotten. Don't underestimate this remedy. It is said when someone has activated this substance within, it is reflected in their shimmering eyes. Ooh, have you ever experienced when your eyes change color depending on your mood? Like, not changing color entirely, but they can get like lighter or darker, and it's not to do with the light source. It's kind of like, because the eyes are the window to the soul, I think, and so you can see the essence of if your soul's become heavy and depressed and it needs deep rest to recover, or if it's joyous and exuberant and you're like flaming with all of these beautiful ideas. There's something about that. So when in the light, the nectar is glowing, relaxed, and subtle illumination. When in the dark, it can become fixated on fixing or an aggressive approach to healing. And I'm hearing soften, soften, soften. Sense the nectar within you dripping from the crown of the head and soothing the brain. Yeah. Let it drip down the spine like sweet honey, grounding it into the root chakra. So from crown to root. That's been coming up a lot in many different readings I've noticed. The nectar, the mystic, and Aletheia cards are linked. It is the mystic who, like Krishna, turns poison into nectar, and it is truth that can often serve as a potent elixir for healing. And I'm hearing knowing your truth. And the destroyer here feels destructive. And I think that's why the nectar needs to like replace some of what the destroyer has damaged to create healing here, especially if your mind has been very overpowering or stripped you of your autonomy in some way, because it's like the way to soothe it has eluded you. There's something about you shifting that perspective, and it feels like it's through movement. And I'm not sure if it's literal movement, like moving your body or moving homes or traveling somewhere temporarily or permanently, but it's something to do with movement. Or maybe it's just moving the energy through you in a different way. But movement is key here, okay? That's going to help to mitigate some of this destruction energy. And destruction's not always bad, but in this case, it feels like it does contain some layer of density to it that's too heavy. And I'm hearing enmeshed. So you may be attached to something in an unhealthy way, dependent on it, codependency or something or other like that makes it difficult to kind of walk away or to self-soothe or to heal in the best possible way. So kind of, I would say, look at maybe where that could present. If that doesn't resonate, then don't take it. But maybe just reflect on, where am I perhaps a little bit too dependent on this or that? And how could I better acclimate to my own needs and soothe myself in a way that feels more autonomous, that feels more sovereign to my soul? And then you can truly authentically connect in a way that's not bridged by attachment. Okay. Attachment theory could also be part of this too. So I think we'll just leave the reading there, group number 3. I hope this was helpful. This was a very sort of deep psychic and scientific spiritual dive here today. So I hope that this was helpful. Just take what resonates and leave the rest as always. But it's always my highest intention to serve and to support in the best way possible. And so this was what you needed, apparently. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.